Okay, so you've done all the work to design and implement your research study and finally ran all of the statistical tests to figure out the results. If you're like me, you want to take those statistical tables and just show them to people saying, see, it's all right there. It's so obvious. But you don't for two reasons. First, not everyone speaks the language of statistics. It's not my native language either. But secondly, we may not even know what we are seeing until we put it into words and pictures or have to explain it to someone else. That's one of the benefits of communicating your results to others. And who you communicate to and in which context will determine how you present those findings. In our case, it could be an executive summary, oral presentation, a full written report, or any combination. This video will cover the essential and additional elements of a full written research report with an emphasis on the research methods element. Let me offer a caveat. This is discussed from my experience as a researcher, and I know that there are likely other versions being used. Before we get to what reports cover, let's talk about the questions you might have when reading a survey. In 2013, National Public Radio covered a study by researchers at London Metropolitan University that concluded that the type of music you listen to while driving affects how safe of a driver you are. I don't know about you, but I'd want to know a lot of things about this study. How did they do it? What music did they study? Who did they gather the information from? The write-up says they studied how drivers reacted to different playlists over 500 miles. Okay, that's something. And they looked at Norah Jones and Elton John as well as Coldplay. Apparently, Coldplay is the music most likely to put you to sleep. But I'm sure that there's more to the study than that. How many people were involved in the study and what are their demographics? Were they all from London? Did they ask them what they listened to? Did they put some devices in their cars? What music wasn't safe? And how did they determine they were safe drivers? How long ago was this study done? So again, I don't know about you, but I'd want to look at the full report. At their base, all reports must include the topic, a literature review if it's an academic report, core concepts about what the purpose of the study and its objectives were, methodological issues, some results and associated analyses, and then some conclusions and recommendations stemming from the research. What can we conclude, and what can we do with these conclusions? Virtually all reports contain the following three basic elements: method, which explains what you did and how you did it, results, what you found, and discussion, an explanation of what it all means. There may be some additional elements, like a short discussion of the findings, an abstract, or appendices such as references, the research instrument used to gather the data, and occasionally pages and pages of the statistical tests run, which means that a report could be very brief or extremely long. If you're doing an academic report, like this one from Communication Reports, you'll likely see the three basic elements plus the reference section. In the methods section, it will identify the sample size and other information related to who participated in the research method, in this case a paper and pencil written questionnaire in a controlled environment, and the research instrument, in this case composed of 15 items or questions, and how it was developed. The results section provides just that, the results of the research. This section might also identify potential limitations in the research and adjustments that were made in the analysis. The discussion section takes the results and breaks them down even more, drawing conclusions from the data. And you all know how to cite your references. The academic report also provides a very brief, usually 1 to 4 paragraphs, description of what the study was and the primary conclusions, called an abstract. Let's compare the academic report to a professional report, one that a researcher like me might provide if hired to do research for your organization. I've reworked the basic elements of a scholarly report in this image to help aid in the comparison. As you'll notice, the information is the same, but likely organized a bit differently. For a professional report, you may or may not have a version of the abstract, an executive summary. And if it's a long report, it will likely have a table of contents. Both types of reports include an introduction and methods, although a professional report often loops the methods section into the introduction section, or occasionally includes more information in the appendices. The results and discussion sections are combined in the body of the professional report, with the recommendations often called out as its own section, and usually included in the executive summary in case a busy executive just wants to quickly read the results and recommendations without having to scour through the entire report. And the professional report often includes additional materials in appendices, like the research instrument used to collect the data, some or all of the statistical tables, more detailed information on the research methods, etc. Oftentimes, if you want to question the validity of the study results, your attention will be focused on the research methods section. Come back to our original questions on the NPR playlist. Who did they interview, and can we generalize from that population? How many did they interview? How did they collect the data? When was the study done? That's what should be included in the methods section of the report. At a minimum, the methods section must include, and I'm a journal report here, but you'll see most, if not all of this, in a scholarly report as well. The data collection method, a phone survey, written survey, internet, focus group, field dates, when the study was conducted, often including the hours of the day, sample size and associated sampling error, how many were interviewed, and how confident are we in generalizing to a larger population, sampling frame, where did the respondents come from, what was the list of respondents and how was it procured, and the sample method, was it a systematic random sample, a convenience sample? While that's the bare minimum, many reports can and should include additional information like the response rate, what was the percentage or proportion of completed interviews to attempted interviews, the unit of analysis, are we generalizing to households or individuals, the average interview length, how long was the survey, operational definitions, any screening or qualification criteria, were we only talking to adults or people who listen to music while driving, or people who drive at least 500 miles in a month? And any quotas. What variables did we address or put limits on to ensure our study population was similar to the larger population? Were we making sure we interviewed the right proportion of respondents based on age, sex, income level, etc.? Oftentimes, this information is put in a table format to make it easier to see all the important information at a glance. A table makes it easier to read than when it's written out in paragraph form. So, while you continue ruminating on the essential and additional elements of a full written research report and think about how important understanding the research methods is, I think I'm going to climb into bed and put on some Coldplay because, according to that survey reported on NPR, I should be able to fall asleep. And trust me, I deserve sleep.